course is Fox is going to take you on a wild ride, but first we're going to have a bit of little moment to thank our troops. As you can see, the student section, see the section down in the Brighton Carousel, aka where pit road starts, is dedicated to our U.S. Army and Navy. In fact, there is a nearby Air Force Base down in Colorado. The Buckley Air Force Base is actually going to give a command this afternoon from their base. Anyways, let's kind of give a description of what this track's going to be. It's a road course with a lot of long straightaways and high-speed sections, but there's going to be a few parts where it's going to involve heavy braking, if you will. Such as, you see, pole winner Jacob Tube, he is to hit the brakes pretty hard. There's a little bit of a runoff area before the dirt and gravel down in turn 1. And then he's going to have to hit the brakes really hard to make it down to turn 2. Then up into 3, that's some slight elevation change in the S's here. Then they switch back on each other about 3-4 times or so. And then there's a long straightaway, followed by a chicane here. A lot of people are going to try to straight line that corner, but they did put rumble strips there. So that's going to be a pretty tight trouble spot. We saw in practice the 48 and the 4 got into an incident there in that section because the 4 jumped the curb into the 48, and then there's another heavy, kind of a carousel similar to turn 2, but it isn't as heavy. So, and then this next corner is pretty blind, so they're going to have to be very careful about how they take that corner. And then there's another right-hander, and then the wide carousel that it's about 4 degrees of banking. And then the long carousel all the way around, and that's going to be the lap around Brighton. In fact, this track actually painted the Bulldog logo in the turn 14 carousel. That's why it's going to be called Bulldog Corner today. Anyways, without further ado, let's take a look at your starting lineup. Row 1, we had the Drive Den Hunger Chevrolet and the Aris Internet Toyota. Row 2, we have a couple surprising road course ringers, the Smithfield Ford and the Motorcraft Ford. Row 3, we got the Farmers Insurance Chevrolet and the Mac Tonight Chevrolet. Row 4, we got the Pennzoil Ford and the Tide Toyota. Row 5 finds the Haas AutoNation Chevrolet and the Nationwide Insurance Chevrolet. Row 6 finds the Ortho Ford and the Denver Mattress Furniture Row Toyota. Row number 7 finds the FedEx Express Toyota and the 29 car. While we're looking through the rest of the field here, let's see if we can mic up road course king Caleb Hoffman. Hey, Caleb Hoffman, this is Daryl Walsh up in the Fox booth. You got us? Yeah. You had a pretty good car today. Car in practice and qualifying. Just what made you miss out on the setup during a Friday evening session? Honestly, Honestly, our car really kind of started falling off the last final practice session, and our brakes just started falling off like crazy. So, anyways, We did a lot of work Saturday in the 3-hour session after the ARCA race here. Did some extra work to our car. Hopefully it will be ready for today's race. Like to say thank you to all the troops who served today. And hope we'll try to win this race for Nicky Hayden. Kind of the final pit road story is Albin Alonso is going to be starting today in the 18th position. Actually lived in the same country Nicky Hayden lived in before coming out to the States. And we talked this morning. He said came in and walked around the speedway, took it all in. He's very fueled to get this race underway today. He is one of our 6 onboard cameras presented by the new movie Despicable Me 3 in theaters June 30th. Onboard camera number 2 goes to the 5, Hunter Miller, with our farmer's insurance on board. The 3rd onboard goes to the Nature's Bakery Brownie Chevrolet. 4th one goes to our Lowe's Salute the Troops on board. The 5th one is our Ihop on board for this race. And the outside pole sitter, Caleb Hoffman, has the Eris on board. Just a reminder, there are there are 12 turns making up this road course in this new gigantic facility that actually has a small go-kart track outside that they raced earlier, that the spotters raced earlier this morning. Eddie DeHunt, Jacob Tube spotter, won, and hopefully he can transfer some of the magic up to today. Bill, Daryl, got a little something to say? Just want to take today and thank the troops. We got the Indy 500 going on. Got some road racing today. Want to say hi to all the troops who have served or are currently serving. Thank you for everything you do. And boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's be a little shifty, boys and girls. Oh, we got one around already. Jacob Tube, the pole sitter, around in 1. There is runoff area. If he doesn't immediately get going, if he sits there, it's going to be a caution. Look at the positions he loses. Meanwhile, Caleb Hoffman's going to have the advantage here down in turn 2 in the heavy braking zone. First of 9 laps today. Jacob Tube has fallen in line around 28. With the S's, you gotta avoid going through there, willy-nilly. And here's another relatively heavy braking section. Everything in the top 4 seems to be relatively singled out. It looks like we do have a little bit of bumping and grinding, and little, and I mean a lot, is they make it through the left-hander. Caleb Hoffman definitely is one to watch for this afternoon. He's known to be very good at the road courses we have in this series. Last time we were at a road course, which was out at Lime Rock Park, he finished 2nd, and before that he won down in Portland. Here they gotta approach races like this like it's a short track. They can't. They gotta keep their gear intact. Looks like we have the 18 around in the runoff. And, oh, caution, caution, got a crash. Looks like just as these drivers came around to complete lap number 1, we already have cars in trouble in the chicane. Looks to me like it's a pretty big wreck, and surprisingly nobody else got collected. As looked to me like the 42 car, 42 tried to get to the inside of the 2. And with the road races, with road racing, the rules are that they're gonna try not to wave the caution happy with the flag. That's why they stage people at certain areas of the track. At the track. If, like, when the 18 spun after contact with the 3, they will chose to let it play out. However, if the car is in a dangerous spot, such as with the chicane, when the 42 and the 2 got together, and it looks like both of these cars sustained some pretty heavy damage, and Robert Smith in the 2 has decided to bring his car down pit road for some service. And we do like to remind you that all these drivers are carrying some sort of patriotism on their cars. Drivers actually have names of fallen lieutenant soldiers and members of our armed services actually written inside their cars today. There's going to be at least quite a few cars getting together and bumping into each other before this one's over today. Not even getting into lap number 1, we have our first accident of the day. You see here, they're all in this wad, and there's a right clip in the chicane. There's a bump here and a bump in the left chicane not far after. The 2, he wants to get as much room as possible. He doesn't see this bump, and it's probably a pretty big trouble spot for a lot of guys today. The 2 comes along, hits the curb. Now at this point, when you hit the curb, it throws you around. It briefly makes you lose control. The 2 slips, starts to spin, gets into the 42. Both cars spin. 42 slams the wall. Derek Lewis, his day is done. The 2 hits the wall as well. So the 2 car is on pit road. We do like to admit that today. The 2 is down on pit road. He's probably going to be got multiple laps down when we get the green. As we come down to restart, Caleb Hoffman is going to take the inside lane, which nothing to note too with these short track races is each lane, the inside lane is often the preferred lane around the corner. There isn't, unlike our ovals in the Roval next year with Homestead Infield being added to the list in place of Gateway, the preferred line is often the right lane into turn 1, so you don't get caught on the outside or have to go through the runoff. Which means the 43, Mason Powers, who was right behind the, right in front of the 5, when he got into his teammate, and I'm pretty sure Hunter Miller had something to say about that. When I get to that 43, I'm just gonna dump him. That's a veteran trying to get into another veteran's head. Better than, blatantly taking him out. He's gonna try to get in his head and make him make a mistake, like drive off into the dirt on accident, or miss numerous spots. As we head down, green flag. And just like that, he's really trying to get into Mason Powers' head, and looks to me like they're really stacking up. Oh! Mason Powers completely missed turn 1. Way off into the dirt. Wow. By the way, this is going to be a relatively quick race. The ARC race yesterday took only a good hour to complete. Then again, there was like one caution the entire race, and that was on lap 10 of 30. It's Hunter Miller. He's our points leader. He is not known for his road course skills. He's going to finally wrestle the lead away from Caleb Hoffman as round goes to 21 here in turn 2. As looks like heading down out of the tighter section of the course. Alan Alonso, he is another one of the drivers we've liked to watch today. He's making a lot of moves. Today. It's like Zaxby, could he try to get a spot inside his teammate for third? Looks like he may. Just a reminder that if the 43 the 43 car, remind you, has gotten going. Well, it's still stuck in the gravel trap, and now caution. Yo, yo, yo. We're stuck, boys. While we're on the subject of, rebounding here, oh, looks like the crew is trying to push the 43. The rescue crew. What are they doing? Tell them to pull me back. Oy. Oh, he's not happy. Mason Powers, that like we said, Hunter Miller knew what he did best. Getting in it. If he can get into a driver's head, it's better than, blatantly taking him out sometimes. Sometimes that's what you got to do is to get into a driver's head. You got to make him freak out, make him make a mistake. Don't just blatantly run to the back of him because he could have very easily just pushed him into the dirt. Mason Powers his day is done. When you hit the sand, a lot of it gets into the grill and it gets in the engine. It overheats the engine. He saw what he did. He tried backing the car out, but it just revved up the engine. And eventually, it just died out. Getting him out of the kitty litter. Mason Powers is done. Next week, we're still on Fox. Fox next Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern. Or, I'm sorry, 12 noon Eastern. The Sirius Satellite, the Sirius XM 400 this afternoon here next Sunday, noon Eastern on Fox. And then Pikes Peak, I'm sorry, Kansas, 12:30 p.m. Eastern on FX. And then, then the off week, and believe it or not, we're actually getting pretty close to the end half of our season. We just have Pikes Peak. That begins at 1:45. Charge of that race begins at 1:45. Anyways, without further ado, it's lap timer is frozen at lap 5. And we do like to bring in the question: who has enough fuel to make it to the end if this race goes green the rest of the way? Here's what Grace El Salvador said to crew chief Matt McCall. Hey, how much do we got on fuel, bud? We're gonna need a pit. We're a lap short on fuel, but a lot of these guys in the top 10 are. The first guy that could make it is the 19 of Caleb Hoffman, and he could make it barely. So he's gonna have to pit. We're gonna have to pit. So if I were you, I'd probably start saving right about now. Ready? Let's crank it up. Listen to some spotter coverage presented by Mountain Dew USA. Ready? Ready? Green, green, green. Green, your watch. Whoa, 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 whoa. Watch it, watch it, watch it. They're stacking up, stacking up. There they go. Down in the back, we got multiple cars crashing here. Looks like the 25's involved. Oh, somebody hit the 25 very hard. Wow. Oh my God. Oh, they're still piling in here. Stop, 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 stop. Just stop. Just stop. Big. Oh my God. We got one car up and on his side and over. Wow. They're gonna wave the red flag because they want to tend to this because the 9 just flipped over here on the front stretch. Landed right on top of somebody. Oh, he needs to get out. And when you get stuck upside down like that, it's quite the ride. For Dylan Murway, he's involved. He's definitely not the day he envisioned. The 29 car. See what radio communications he has. We just lost power, guys. It wouldn't go. And that's quite the wreck. Just to see. Eventually, nobody up front could see because the carousel, it's still blind. You can't really see very far past the Bulldog corner. Can't really see a whole lot past past turn 13. You see KFC Cup Series window net down his car. Oh my God, that I see Noah Spalding. He's out of the car. When the wreck happened, it the 27 and the 6 have driven away, and so has the 4 car. The 29 has not driven away. The 4 is on pit road. Wow. When now this red flag, it actually is kind of a blessing for some of these guys, especially up in the top 10. Especially, guys like Jacob Tube, Alvin Alonso, who've been sitting in the back most of the day. Looks like Noah Spalding, Dylan Murway. Anyways, Dylan Murway is down pit road talking things over with Noah Spalding. Here's Dick. Pretty vicious wreck right there, man. What's cooking? I literally had no warning the wreck started. Next thing you know, I'm hitting 3 and people are and cars are crashing, and I see the 9 upside down. Hopefully they're able to take care of them. I'm being upside down. I've had the fortune not be upside down in a wreck here, but it's pretty scary sight. I've been upside down in a ARCA car, the ARCA car yesterday, and qualifying the day before. That morning. It's pretty scary. Anyways, our Jimmy John Chevrolet was pretty good today. We were just slowly making our way towards the front, passing cars and making strategy fall our way. But unfortunately, it just didn't work out for us. When we restart this race, there's going to be confirmed reports that this will be basically a 2-lap sprint to the finish, which means if you're anybody in the middle group, like anybody like Alvin Alonso, Blake Dillon, Jonathan Wishart, Sports Center Cup Series, even though some of y'all may have damage from the wreck, what do you do? Honestly, just gamble and go for it. The least that can happen is you run out of fuel on this restart. The 5 and the 20 are getting dangerously low, so they're probably going to have to pit. The 1 could make it, the 22 could make it, so could maybe the 41 and the 88. But when you get outside the top 10 to where the 78 is, the 20... Sorry. When you get outside the top 10 to where the 78 is, the 24, the 17, 7, 10, and 18 are, they've been slowly working their way back into contention for this thing. So they could very well be playing a factor if one of the guys in the top 10 runs out. And by the way, they have flipped Matthew Powell's car over. So the best news we have right now, the rest of the cars have been taken away from the scene. There's about 10 cars in the stack up, not counting the cars that ran over debris, like the 2, the 31. So that brings the total up to about 12. With the 9 of Matthew Powell going upside down after basically getting plowed into by the 14. And nearly landing on the back of the 27. Do like to remind you that they have taken Matthew Powell to nearby Platte Valley Medical Center here in Brighton for further evaluation. But the best we know is he is awake and alert at the moment. Just past with the red flag that lasted about 22 minutes so you can clean up all the oil and the damage from this. Couple cars have pitted to top off. The 88 and the 20 and the 5 have pitted. Well, they did pit for fuel, so this means they're kind of going to be back in Nutville. And this means we got the first guy that can make it on fuel is the 24 Jacob Tube. the rest of these drivers do have to pit. These are the multiple lap down cars. Anyways, without further ado, let's go. 3-lap sprint. It's going to be quite the show. Boy, Grayson Alcevedo had quite the run going. I'm not sure if I would have made that move yet. Look at Zox Moon going to the inside and one. Oh, look out, look out, look out, look out, look out, look out. Around goes the 22. Very similar spot. The 24 had his spin on lap 1. He loops it around. Hopefully he can keep it out of the kitty litter. And in the meantime, here comes the 41 of Hunter Rizzoni. See who can hopefully get the preferred spot. Man, Hunter is Alvin Alonso, Jacob Tube. Man, these guys, they got crazy power right here to make their way through this pack. And in the end of this race, you're going to see some pretty interesting stars up in the top 10. And some big name drivers who basically been to hell and back today. It's like, it's out, it's out, it's out, it's out. Oh, you heard it there. Grayson Alcevedo said it's out. The fuel can't last. Now, here's the question. How long does Caleb Hoffman have on fuel? Here comes Jacob Tube trying to use the bumper on the 16. It's out. Here's the right-hander. Man, Jacob Tube, we knew he had a strong car today. That's the reason he got the pole and laid the track record down Friday evening. See, Jacob Tube, he's trying to get the... He wants the outside lane. He's driving the balls off that car. Oh my God. 2 to go here at Brighton. Caleb Hoffman, oh, looks like Hunter Rizzoni may be out as well. Oh, he's got a problem. Missing the brakes. Brakes are gone. Oh. Oh my God. Oh, hard into the tires goes the 41. The dirt, he did stop. That's the best news. We do still stay green. Grayson Alcevedo is out of the car, is off into the infield in the skid pad area. for all the wrong reasons. Jacob Tube, he watched a lot of videos about Jeff Gordon and how he took on Infineon in the Glen. Could this mean if Caleb Hoffman screws up, he is getting tight on fuel, could this mean the 24 gets his first road course win? Look at that, right up to the bumper of the 19. Can't quite clear him. Oh! 78 and 16 getting together. Do they wave the yellow? The 41 is out of the racing groove. He will finish today 24th. Through the S's. Here, Jonathan Morrison with crash damage has made his way up to 4th this afternoon. Oh, this could be a heck of a show right here. Through the long speeding chicane goes the 19. Here comes the 24 trying to get to the inside. They make contact. Jacob Tube through to the lead. Several cars beating and banging in the back. Looks like the 3 off into the dirt. Spinner. Into the wall. Look at that. Alvin Alonso rim riding around, and I believe Caleb Hoffman may be going into conservation mode. Can't go, bud. You gotta go. Oh, he's got a problem. The heartbreak for Caleb Hoffman. Looks like he's dropping 4th. Looks like rumors of a flat tire. Could it be from the contact when him and the 24 got together? I do believe so. Jacob Tube off of 4. He will see the white flag. Off of the 12. White flag into the air. He's going to have to fight the crap out of that 17 car. Quite the massive attrition rate in this race. Jacob Tube, who's spun today in last. In last, he is going to be making his way through turn number 1. Oh my God. '88 trying to make up some ground in the back. As you see, Jacob Tube making the turn around, the heavy right-hander. A lot of braking. He was able to make the fuel last to the end. And the last time he won was back at Texas. So far, he's in position to get win number 2 of the year. Caleb Hoffman has made his way back into the top 5. But he is going to be out of Jacob Tube's reach. He will not have a shot to win this race anymore. Jacob Tube, he's going to make his way around off of the off of 6. 8, turn number 9 for one last time today. Jacob Tube off into the carousel for one final time, making the fuel last. He will come off of turn 4, learning from role model and NASCAR and Fox inspiration commentator Jeff Gordon. Jacob Tube will finally see his first road course victory. Awesome job, boys. Last to first. That's how you do it. And oh, we got a car in the tires. Car hard in the tires. That is Chris Washer. Chris Washer off of turn 4. Look at all of 10. Look at the positions he's losing. Awesome job, boys. Thank you. You've made probably the best car is today. Last gets spun out on lap number 1 today. Jacob Tube spun lap number 1, and since then he has been on a rocket ship catching cautions. They fell at the right time for him. He is going to out of the car and look at that smile. Him and the Monster Energy Hendrick Motorsports team, they organized a bike ride through here, especially through down at Bar Lake on Thursday morning for Nikki Hayden to raise awareness for him. A bike ride that basically went from Bar Lake and ended at Brighton High School. As Jacob Tube, what a man. That right there shows his never give up attitude. Stop races like today are what he needs, well, minus any trouble. Races like today, especially where you fight and never give up, and cautions fell the right way. Races like today are what he needs to go to victory, to have a shot at the championship. Jacob Tube is going to be driving his car that's actually had enough fuel for a burnout, believe it or not. Jacob Tube got spun from the pole on lap 1. His as the crew, Chris Washer is unfortunately going to finish today in the 20s. 2 of the fastest cars today ran out of gas or drove off into the tires because of brakes. issues or were involved in one of the race's many wrecks. And Jacob Tube is the man of the hour, the Fuel King. As you see the unofficial results flash by your screen, we do like to remind you that next Sunday, 12:30 Eastern, 9:30 Pacific, down into Irish Hills, Michigan, with the manufacturer battle. L, the Sirius XM 400 on Fox, and then next Sunday it's out to Kansas at 12:30 p.m. Eastern on FX. And then the week off. Then we're down at Pikes Peak to finish out the month. And then Saturday night, then that Saturday we're going to be turning over to NBC. Jacob Tube. Victory Lane. There's some pretty noticeable guys up in the top 10 you don't normally see, like Blake Dillon, Noah, What If Racing, Jake Basinger running out the top 10, Darnell Matthew finishing 11th. The guys that pitted on that final caution ended up 12th, 14th, 16th, 17th. 16th, Zarks Moon spawned and came back to finish 17th. And then Chris Washer ended up today in 20th. The rest of these, basically anybody from Jackson Robert Smith on back was involved in a crash today. Robert Smith crashed on lap number 1. Came back to finish 21st with heavy front end damage. And then Peyton Beasley, Menards Cup Series, basically one of 3 drivers that actually were able to finish this race after that massive pileup late on the restart that sent Matthew Powell up on his roof. And see the rest of the field. And then Derek Lewis, fellow Brighton native. Unfortunately, his day didn't even have a lap around this joint before finishing in 34th. Remember, noon Eastern next Sunday, Michigan on Fox. And then the next Sunday after that, 12:30 p.m. Eastern on Kansas on FX. Then the week off. And then Pikes Peak coverage begins at 1:45 p.m. Eastern on Fox. And that's the rest of the NASCAR on Fox schedule before we turn things over to NBC.